Can you believe it's been a year? A whole year of us sitting down together, peeling back the layers of what it actually means to be a human being in this messy, beautiful, often overwhelming world. When I started this podcast, I wanted to take everything that I've learned from my 25 years in the therapy room, the clinical skills, the breakthroughs, those deep somatic moments, and bring them directly to your listening ears. And my mission was simple. I just wanted you to feel like you have a personal therapist on hand, giving you the tools and the psychoeducation that you can actually trust and rely on in the middle of your real life. No jargon, just real applied therapy skills. So today's episode, it's going to be a big one. We've spent the last few weeks talking about how we absorb other people's moods and how we hide our anger. But today we're looking at the driver's seat. We're talking about those moments where your emotions feel like they are running you, where the anxiety, the shame, or the overwhelm takes the wheel and you find yourself shoved into the back of the passenger seat, just along for the ride, just watching all of this happen. So I'm going to share 5 tangible somatic-based tips to help you regulate those emotions in real time. It's not about fixing your feelings or making them go away. It's about building the scaffolding. You can hold them without being controlled by them. So wherever you are, maybe you're walking, doing the dishes with the dog, sitting, just chilling, just take the next 5-10 minutes or so for yourself, because you are welcome here.
This is We Are All Fine with Heidi Lester, counsellor and psychotherapist with over 25 years of experience. Join us as we unpack emotions, relationships, and mental health strategies to help you show up as your best self.
So let's talk about something that almost we all experience at some point or another. That moment when your emotions seem to take over that steering wheel. You might recognise it. Maybe it's anxiety, that's for me, that suddenly floods in and your thoughts start racing. Or maybe it's shame after a conversation and you replay every word you said over again. Maybe it's frustration or overwhelm that builds up until you snap, and afterwards you wonder where that reaction even came from. Because when emotions take over like this, it can feel like you're no longer the one driving. It's almost as if the emotion has jumped into the driver's seat and you've been pushed into the passenger seat, just watching it unfold. Afterwards, many people say the same thing. Why did I react like that? Or why didn't I handle that differently? And this is where emotional regulation comes in. Now, I want to be really clear about something here. Emotional regulation does not mean suppressing your feelings. It's not about pretending either that you're calm when you're not. And it's not about forcing those emotions to disappear. What it really means is learning how to stay present with your feelings without being completely controlled by them. It's about building a little bit of space between the emotion and your reaction. So today I'm going to share 5 practical therapy tools that can help you do exactly that. These are the kind of things that I work with clients in the therapy room with because they work. Not just when everything else is calm, but in those moments when emotions are already rising. And the goal isn't perfection. Simply learning how to pause long enough to take the wheel. So welcome to episode 55 of We Are All Fine. I'm Heidi Lester, a counsellor and psychotherapist. Make yourselves comfortable. So tip number 1, the name to tame pause. The first tool, incredibly simple but surprisingly powerful. When a strong emotion appears, pause for a moment and name what you're feeling. Not dramatically, just quietly to yourself. It might be something like, I'm noticing anxiety. I'm feeling frustrated. Okay, there might be some shame here. What this does is activate the thinking part of your brain, the part that helps you observe rather than immediately react. Instead of being completely inside the emotion, you create a little bit of distance from it. It's a subtle shift, but it will change everything. Because once you can name the emotion, you're no longer completely overwhelmed by it. You're relating to it instead. Tip number 2, reset the body. This second tip is about remembering something important. Emotions are physical experiences. When anxiety or anger rises, your body reacts first. Your heart rate will increase, your breathing will change, your muscles will get tightened. Trying to think your way out of that rarely works because your nervous system is already on high alert. So sometimes the fastest way to regulate emotion is to calm the body first. A very simple technique is using cold water. Splash cold water on your face, hold an ice cube on your wrist, or run your wrists under cool water. It might sound small, but this sends a really powerful signal to your nervous system that helps bring your heart rate down and interrupt the emotional spiral. Tip number 3, widen your awareness. When your emotions become intense, your focus tends to narrow. We become fixated on the problem, the thought, the fear, anything like that. Everything else disappears from view. So one way to interrupt this is deliberately widening your attention and look around the room. Notice the colours, the sounds, any kind of movement around you, and just take that moment to reconnect with the environment you're in. This simple shift reminds your brain that there is more happening than the emotional moment you're caught up in. It gently brings your nervous system back towards a calmer state of being. Tip number 4 is grounding yourself. Strong emotions can sometimes make people feel like they're almost disconnected from themselves, like their mind is racing ahead while the rest of their body is struggling to keep up. Grounding techniques are going to help bring you back to the present moment. And one of the easiest ways to do this is through physical awareness. Once you've recognized your body needs to be known, the quickest way to anchor any fear, any worry is through your breath. So you breathe in for 4 seconds through your nose and you exhale longer for 7 seconds out through your mouth, and gently count up to 4 and breathe out to 7. This will regulate your nervous system and remind your brain and body that you're safe, you're in control, and you are the one grounding yourself. Or if you want to physically move your body, you can click your fingers, press your feet into the floor, feel the solidness of the ground beneath you, or push your hands on a wall. Any kind of movement will snap your body back out of that fight, flight and freeze and give you these moments you need to decide what you're going to do next. These small moments of awareness will anchor you in the present rather than letting your thoughts pull you into a spiral about the past or about the future. We don't want to be in either of those places. And tip number 5, speak to yourself as the adult in the room. This final tip is about how you speak to yourself in these emotional moments. When emotions become intense, it can sometimes feel like a younger or more vulnerable part of you has taken over. And in those moments, just gently try stepping into the role of the calm adult in the room. You can just acknowledge what you are feeling, give yourself lots of encouragement. You can handle this. We can find the answer. You've been through worse moments than these. That's always one to try and remember every time, isn't it? Because you'd have been through worse. It's not about denying the feeling. It's about reminding yourself that you have more capacity and resilience than the emotion might be telling you in that moment. These 5 skills are all simple, but when practiced regularly will make a huge difference. They're the same techniques I've shared with hundreds of people over the years, and I really hope they're going to help you feel a little bit more empowered and back in control. They give you something incredibly valuable, a pause. And in that pause, you regain choice. Instead of reacting automatically, you can decide how you respond. And that's really what emotional regulation is about. Not controlling your feelings, but learning how to stay present with them without losing yourself in the process. As we hit this 1-year milestone, I'm so focused on growing this community. I want this podcast to reach every person who feels like they're walking around not being heard, not being seen, or struggling in any way. If this episode has resonated with you, could you do me a small, huge favour? And can you share this with one friend who needs it? And please review the show on Apple or Spotify and hit the save button for next time you might need some tips. It sounds like a small thing, but it's how we can reach more people and keep my personal therapist in your ear mission going. And I also want to hear from you. My favourite part of this year has been the messages and the comments that I've received. So what do you want to hear more of? What are you struggling with in your daily life? I can draw on my clinical experience to answer your specific questions. So please do email me directly at HeidiWeAreAllFine@gmail.com. I will read every single email. And you can also find me on all the social media platforms for daily applied therapy skills and psychoeducation you can use on the go. Search for me, Heidi Lester, Therapy Applied, on TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook. If you want to see fresh new videos, I post those daily as well. So next week, we're going to tackle the mental time travel that keeps so many of us stuck with anxiety. We're going to be talking about catastrophizing. I'm going to show you how to move from the terrifying what if of the future and land firmly back into the what is of the present. We're going to be debunking the disaster movies your brain likes to write, and I will show you how you can anchor yourself that stops those spiraling thoughts in their tracks. So until then, remember, be yourself. You are no one else. You are exactly where you need to be. And you are so much more than those emotions that rush through you and tell you different. I'm Heidi Lester. We are all fine. Have the best week, and I'll see you next Monday. This podcast is for educational and informational purposes only and is not a substitute for professional therapy, personal diagnosis, or medical advice. These opinions are personal and I do not guarantee the accuracy. And listening to this podcast does not create a counselling relationship. So please always consult a qualified mental health professional with any concerns.